when you're in a hole the size of this, the only option is to keep digging.
Boris Johnson, visiting Dudley, said Britain needed to build its way out of the economic disaster created by the COVID lockdown. He pledged to deliver the infrastructure projects already promised, even faster than advertised.
We will build, build, build. Build back better, build back greener, build back faster.
Big changes to planning law are being contemplated by Downing Street, which some worry could carve out locals from planning decisions. But today, the government was focusing on smaller changes, like allowing commercial buildings, including high street premises closed by COVID, to be switched quickly into homes.
A large swathe of that high street has to become residential. That then recreates that footfall that was there 20, 30 years ago.
There was no more spending money announced today beyond the billions promised in the budget in March, just a commitment to spend some of it more quickly. More spending is expected in the Chancellor's statement next week. But there's scepticism about the Prime Minister invoking President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. The government wants to convey the vastness of what they're doing and have hit upon the 1930s New Deal spending splurge, trying to haul the US out of the Depression as a way to do it.
As I say all this, that it sounds like a prodigious amount of government intervention. It sounds like a New Deal. And all I can say is, if that is so, then that is how it's meant to sound and how it's meant to be.
Cities like Sheffield have been asked by the government what projects they have that are ready to start this year. Few think the government's spending plans bear comparison with the New Deal.
We made comparisons to America and Franklin Roosevelt, saying, you know, at that time he spent about £5,000 or £6,000 per head. The announcement today that it works out roughly £100 per person.
Boris Johnson was delivering his speech at a training college in Dudley, trying to enthuse his audience, a socially distanced 24 listeners, but also trying to warn them of economic pain to come.
We're waiting, as if between the flash of lightning and the thunderclap, with our hearts in our mouths, for the full economic reverberations to appear.
In Dudley, one of the red wall seats that backed the Tories in the last general election, some wonder if the government's focusing on building to the exclusion of rescuing sectors like hospitality, badly hit by COVID.
There could be, post-October, a lot of unemployment as people are made redundant. So I think it's great to have a long-term, absolutely a long-term strategy, but I think in the current circumstances you also need a short-term one.
All these shops along here, most of them have actually been closed. There's a loss of capital, loss of money. So it's very difficult. Even if you're actually going to build infrastructure, that still doesn't preclude the damage that's been caused because of loss of earnings.
My dad's very local. He has a local cafe, and COVID has completely trashed him because we had to be shut for such a long time.
He's trying to put 100% into whatever he's trying to do, so yeah, yes.
Very pleased.
He's got thumbs up for a month.
Yes, brilliant.
I was always Labour, but now I'm Tory.
I think I'm done here. Is that right?
Next week, the Chancellor will unveil more detailed measures, many wondering just how much support the worst-hit businesses will get and how much the government decides to put its efforts elsewhere and hope those made unemployed migrate to other sectors.